All right, disclaimer before I start this video off. For those of you who have a family, which mostly every single one of us does, for those of you who have children or you love your family, you care for your family, you have to understand I am not taking a stab at that. You see, I am not coming at anybody because you have a family. We all have a family. What I'm going to talk about in this video with what I'm going to speak about is where I see this heading. This is my view and my take and my honest account of what I have seen throughout history and what I have seen build up into why I think this is how it's going to go, because I have seen almost every family that I know be destroyed over the last, 30 years of my life. I have seen literal families be destroyed. I have seen people separate, go their own ways, say, this isn't working. It's time for me to go do my own thing and go off on my own. Or one of my friends, Mike, he got shot. Now I'm not going to talk about it because I don't want to put anybody's business out, but he got shot. You're not going to know who he is anyway, but he got shot by his own brother, and then his brother killed another guy, and their families all tore up. I mean, I haven't spoke to him, but I know that will do some damage to your mind and it will have you thinking different. My family, my brother Earl, my Aunt Tammy, and my Uncle Tim OD'd on drugs. That's on my mom's side of the family. 3 people died of drug overdoses in the last 6 years. And I was a bad heroin addict. I'm not on heroin right now. I haven't been on heroin for a very long time. And it's just many other families. And I know from me watching up till this point what has been going on in history and what has been going on with families, and just if you really are taking a look at this thing very deeply for yourself and you're actually observing what's really going on here and you're not in denial and you're really looking at these things, it's going to be a hard pill to swallow with some of the things I say, but it's just me being honest with you. I can't sit here and lie to myself. So why am I going to lie to anybody else? I don't have a reason to. But here's what I'm saying. There is this domino effect that I see taking place where I see what people are doing on the internet. I see the videos they're making. I hear the way they're speaking. I see what's happening on certain channels. Once in a while, I will watch things with like clips of what's going on in the world, but very seldomly. I don't watch TV. I don't watch news. I don't watch any of that stuff. I think that TV is an indoctrination center. I think that it is full of deceit. It's full of saying, here, chase this desire, chase this thing. You'll get something if you do this. And I know a lot of you out there, you still watch TV. It's nothing to get offended by. It's just, it is what it is when I'm saying. This is my view on it. But where I see all of this heading, I see people heading towards communal living. Or if they don't go towards a communal living with other people, something similar to Osho. If you ever heard of Osho, a lot of you will see him as a cult leader and all this stuff because he had like 100, 100 Rolls Royces and his followers were dedicated to him and all that stuff. I don't care about that stuff. I don't look at that stuff. I look at what the man was saying. I look at the words he spoke and the views that he had on certain things. It ain't that we're going to agree on everything, because we're never going to agree on everything. That's just impossible for people to agree. But what I see is people that are into kind of like psychedelic, spiritual stuff. I see those people, the people that are into that kind of stuff. I see them as they are going to get to the point where they're so sick and tired of the way that the world is doing things, and it's going to be this repetitive nature where they're so sick and tired that you have no other choice but to move. You have no other choice but to do something, or do something different, or say, I don't want to live this way anymore. And people are going to leave one another. Family members are going to go. It's going to break apart. But some families will stay together. I'm not saying that it's all families. But what I mean is like the psychedelic spiritual community, the community of people that are into political things, the people. But see, a lot of people though in that realm, they're not going to understand what I mean, because they think that they have to hold up the family structure on a pedestal, and they think that that is everything, and it's really not. And just hear me out through the video so I can explain myself, because I don't think people get far enough in my videos. I think you might listen and say, oh, well, I don't agree with that, so I'm cutting the video off. I don't want nothing to do with this guy. I don't know what you're talking about. You lost it. You're delusional, whatever. But it's really not that. I've looked at all this stuff myself time and time again, and I have studied people. I have studied places. I have studied the internet. I have studied what I hear from people, and I'm very observant. I'm very careful. I'm very thorough with what I do and the things I say and the things I look into for myself. But all of these, see, I want to say types and kinds of people that relate to one another, people that are of a like mind with the way they live and the way they do things and the things they think about. They are heading towards this collapse. Like, things are collapsing all around us. I mean, all of us, just look at what's going on in the world. We all know what's going on with things. Even if we don't want to be honest with ourselves, we can see how the world is changing all the time. Things are always changing. People are going a different way. They get sick and tired of something. But I'm telling you, it is headed towards people either going to communes with communities of people where they run it themselves. They're planting their own food. They're building their own homes. They're attending to their own farms, kind of like homestead living, refuge living, outdoor. Well, we're all outdoors, but what I'm saying is we're all heading towards that type of thing, or we are heading towards families or individual people, a very few people going off on their own and getting away from. There's no way that you can escape the system as long as the system's here. If money's here, that's the way that people are going to keep having to make it in order to survive, unless you do the thing that I'm saying in this video. And people don't even realize out there. See, I hear so many of us, we're complaining about our situation, but there is a way that you can resolve a lot of your situation. See, most of us don't even know that there is free land in the United States. You just have to go and fill out an application. You have to go where that is. You can look it up online. Where is free land? Where can I build my own home? Where can I plant, my own food? Where is there free land? How can I get free land and go build my own thing? You have to fill an application out, but they make you build something. You have to build a home. You have to build a house. You have to have an address there. And if those of you who are saving up money, those of you who actually have it, you can go do that if you want. And you can literally go online and say, how do I build a little house? How do I build a little shed? How do I build a little home? And it will tell you literally how to build a home. There are channels that show you how to build a home. There are people that show you how to plant seeds and do all of these things. And I'm telling you this because this is all that's left for me. This is all that I look towards doing anymore. I'm not looking towards going to some place that doesn't give a shit about me, some place that's using me to get them rich. I'm not going to do that anymore. That is just, like I said, I told somebody this and they wrote in the comments that, I would refuse to go somewhere and live in the streets before I do that. And I meant that. I will literally live in a tent in the streets before I go do something that I hate doing every day. That's to the point that I'm at. And I know people see it different, people that go to jobs every day. But you don't understand. Your work is not in vain. Like the people that go to work and go to these jobs and stock shelves and make food, we need you people. Like, I'm thankful to you. You matter to me. You are important. You are worth what you're doing. But see, you think that you're worthless, like you're going to a job every day for nothing. I know you might not like it, and you might hate it, and you can't stand doing it, and that's not what you want to do. I'm telling you, there's another way. Just because I'm not doing it right at this very moment myself, that doesn't mean that I'm not telling you how it really is, what it really is, and what you can really do. But see, here's the thing that people are not going to want to hear, and this is where people are going to get however they get, but I can't control that. Most of these men and women that complain about their situation and they work and they're saving up money, they just don't want to go do that. They want to keep complaining about their situation. They want to keep talking about it because that's what their channels are based on, is talking about how everything is and how they hate it and how they can't stand it. This is what they make their channels about. And listen, I'm not, that's your business. That's your life if that's what you're doing. But I know me, I don't want to keep making the excuse that there is no other way, because there is another way. It's just we have to be willing to change, and I have to be willing to change too. I'm not just telling you this out there. I'm actually telling myself this in this video. As I'm speaking to you, I'm telling myself this. I'm not just saying to you, hey, look, buddy boy, or hey, look, woman, girl, look, person, whoever's listening, you have to do this and do that. No, I'm telling you, if you are sick and tired of being sick and tired, if you are tired of going to a job you hate every day, if you're tired of doing that and you have some money saved up, you can get free land. All you have to do, you got to fill out an application, you have to do that, and you have to build something there. Are you willing to build a home for yourself? Are you willing to plant your own food? Are you willing to do homestead living or refuge living? Are you willing to do that? Then you can get away from going to a job every day. You can get away from that. You can make a living off of your own crops. You can make a living if you got some chickens with the eggs. We can make a living off of this, or when we have the place, we will have a home. And then all you got to do is get some water, get some food, a toothbrush, toothpaste. You don't need all this shit. And then when you're doing that, what you do is, if you want electricity or you want something like that, get a couple solar panels for yourself. it's almost like a survivalist mentality, but I'm not a survival nutball. I'm just saying it's if you're that tired of the system and you're that tired of having to slave away at some job, or you're that tired of it, you're going to make the change. If you're not sick and tired, I mean, a million times being sick and tired, then you're going to keep doing what you're doing, and you're going to keep talking about it, and your channel is going to be based off of that, and you're going to keep complaining about it. And I can't do anything for you. You got to do that for yourself. And like, I have to do it for myself. You see, I'm not getting on your shit. I'm getting on my shit in this video. I'm saying, Nate, if you want to get out of this room, then you're going to have to make a move. Nate, if you're tired of living this way, Nate, you have to do something. Nate, I don't have a bunch of money saved up. You see, some of you out there, you're working and doing something you don't like, but you have some money saved up, and you can go start doing this. You can start to do it. You can put in the application. You can look it up online. Here's how you start. If you don't know and you need me to help guide you, even though I'm not doing it myself, it seems very hypocritical. But I care for others and myself. I care for my life while I'm here. All you have to do is type in, where do I get free land? Where can I build my own home? Where can I do this? Look it up online. Everything is online for you. It's right there. But what are we going to do? Just keep wasting our time away doing nothing about anything and complaining about it and bitching and talking about it for the rest of our lives? Do you want to be at these jobs that you hate for the next 10, 20, 30 years? Do you want to be at a place where you're not feeling like you're worth anything? See, this is why I keep bringing this up, because it's that time. I don't care if I have every person leave me and say, oh, well, I can't mess with you anymore, man. You're just on something else. You're begging for handouts, and you're on this, thing where you want me to help support you and all that and this and that. It's not about that. Do you think you're worth something here? I think that I'm worth something. I think that I have something to give other people. I think that I'm not just wasting my time. And that's why I keep bringing it up, because for those who are not thinking like this, then those people are irrelevant. I have no association to those people. It's only for people that are thinking how I do that will remain here and will be here in the end and will stick around. It's just that plain and simple. I can't finagle around it. You know what I mean? And if you think that I'm getting on you, then maybe I'm telling you something. Maybe I'm telling you something that nobody else is telling you, because who else is going to tell you this? There's channels like, there's a channel, Steve Brown. There's the Life is Overrated channel. There's the Born in a 9-to-5 Corrupt System. I think that's what it's called. There's a whole bunch of you out there. Don't think that I'm getting on your shit. I'm telling you something that you might not know for yourself. You see, it's like I have to let my pride down to learn for myself. I have to let my pride down to say, okay, maybe somebody has looked into something. Maybe someone has been dedicating most of their time for me to listen, for me to learn something to do for myself. You see, it doesn't always mean that the person that tells you something has everything going for them, or it hasn't happened yet. You see, most people are like, well, show me what you're doing. If you're not doing all of that and you're not proving it to me, then why would I listen to you? See, that's just foolish, because there is people that I listen to and I have watched and I have heard that they were speaking about things, they were planting the seeds, and I listened and I took it in for myself, like people that produce music. I watched them and I listened and I observed it and I didn't judge it. I let it be what it was, and I learned something for myself from that, and that taught me something. I learned from it. It made me do something for myself. It gave me the ability to say, okay, it's time for a change. It's time for me to do this. I don't want to just listen to them or keep hearing them do it. I want to do it too. You see, I was jealous of other people, but I used my jealousy for something good. I used my jealousy as a weapon to say, I'm going to do that myself the way that I do it. And see, most people don't know how to use jealousy. They don't know how to use when somebody's right and they're wrong, take it on the head and say, okay, they were right and I was wrong. Or the way that they seen it, I didn't see, so I'm offended. You know, it's like if we would learn to quit getting offended, or we would learn to stop taking stuff in a way where it's doing something to discourage us. It's not meant to do that. What I'm telling you is not meant to discourage you. I'm telling you, if you can't stand where you work, if you hate what you're doing every day, if you're tired of your life, are you willing to make that change? Are you willing to do something a little more so that you can save up for something to get away from that thing so that you can start another new life somewhere? You see, this is what I'm telling myself right now as I speak. And no, I don't have a lot of materials. I might be getting some tools here because my grandfather, he died the other day on the 6th or the 5th, and he has a lot of tools. So I might be the one to get those. So if I do go and do whatever I do in the near future, I will have that at least. You see what I'm saying? All that I'm saying is, this is where I see this thing going. And I know I went off on a tangent here about this, but this pertains to where I really believe that we are going. It's just people are letting fear hold them back. We're letting the fear of thinking we have to hold up the family on a pedestal. We have to hold up this thing by all means necessary. Its time is over. Its time is over. Let it go. It's time to go to something else. And that's what I think. I think that it's time for either communes of people, or it's time for us to go and start living on our own, build our own house, plant our own food, get our own cows and chickens to squeeze the milk, to get the chicken egg, and you can take it right from the chicken coop onto a stove, crack the egg, and eat some scrambled eggs, and there's your breakfast. All you have to do, you have to find a way to get the food for the chickens and the water to put on the plants. And once you have the house built, that's out of the way. See, you don't have to pay rent. You don't have to pay mortgage on a home. You don't have to keep wasting your money and paying these people. Don't you see that this is all? If you don't see behind the smoke screen and the facade and the way that this is ran, we are paying the corporations that we hate working for. We are paying the people that are literally keeping us in this bondage. We keep giving them the money we're working for. We don't have to keep working for these people. Don't we get that? Don't we understand that? I mean, I don't know how to put it any other way to you, because nobody else is looking into this stuff. There's no other channel that's going to tell you this, because they don't care. They don't care about these things. They don't want to change. They're not doing this. And it's just like I wrote in the last video. If anybody watched the last video with music production, MPC expansions, and kit makers, stop shorting yourselves. This all goes with it too. But here's what something that Rick Rubin said. Innovative work is likely to alienate as many people as it attracts. Innovative work is likely to alienate as many people as it attracts. That means if you're attracted to this, more than likely you're not going to do it. It's going to alienate you further away because you don't think that you can do it. You don't think that you can make that change. You don't think that you can build a house. You don't think that you can plant your own food. Why not work doing that? Why not work planting our own food? Why not work building our own home? Why not work to put into something like this instead of keep paying somebody and getting them rich and us getting peanuts? What sense does that make? We're not squirrels here. We're not getting little peanuts to take and, eat them and say, oh, well, that's it. I'm just saying as a metaphor. I know that was a stupid metaphor, but if nobody plants that seed in you, if nobody tells you about it, if you don't hear the word and you don't listen to the word, how are you going to get the word? How are we going to know to do any of this stuff? So anyway, I am to this. Yes, I am here. I am paying rent to a landlord, and I appreciate that landlord. I appreciate this little room. I appreciate everything I have. I appreciate this microphone. I appreciate everything I have, but I don't want to keep paying someone for where I'm living when I can do something myself. And I know that I'm not there yet. I'm just saying, for those of you who actually have been saving up for yourselves, you have not been saving up for nothing. You have been saving up for what I'm saying in this video right now. Destiny has led you right here, right now, and you were supposed to hear this video. That's what I believe. Now, are you willing to take the action? Are you going to plant that seed and let that mustard seed grow into a mountain? You see, that's the question. And if anyone, for my time or my videos, if anyone would, like to help support me in any way, cheers. All that I can ask is, literally, I know it sounds corny. I know metaphorically I put it in the description, but all I can ask is buy me a coffee. If you got something from this video, or it somehow resonated with you, or you feel as though you want to help give back, I got blue links down in the description. I have to remind people of this because, see, other channels, they kind of do this in a sly way with you and kind of like say it at the beginning of the video or edge you into it. I'm not gonna do none of that to you. I'm gonna be absolutely honest with you. It's like, okay, I'm giving time. So if you want to give any time back, $1, $3, $5, whatever, then I appreciate that more than anything, because that helps me to keep going. That helps me to keep finding information. That helps me to keep up with the swing of life. It helps me to keep going in this chaotic realm myself. And even though you might not see me doing everything, even though I might sound like a hypocrite, because I can be a hypocrite sometimes, I'm doing this because I know what I want to do for myself in the future, and I know that I care that I would do it, so I'm telling other people about it. So actually, I do care about other people. I don't care about other people's bullshit. I don't care about all the things people do that has nothing to do with me, because I can't care for the whole world. I can only care for myself, and this is, it's only going to get through to a couple individual people. It's not going to be a lot of people. I've already come to that conclusion, I've already come to terms that, just like the quote I said, and I'll say it again, innovative work is likely to alienate as many people as it attracts. And that's basically saying very few people, when you're doing something innovative, when you're doing something that can actually help or make a change for that person, they'll ignore it because we're so used to going back to the bullshit. We're so used to going back to a job we hate and working and not doing anything about it. We're so used to complaining about our situations and saying about how bad it is with everything, but none of us are willing to change anything. None of us are willing to actually do the thing that can bring us more peace, that can bring us extra time for ourselves, that can do the things that we don't want no more. So if we really don't want that, then what are we doing about that? And look, I understand that we all have to complain. I understand we all have to bitch and we all have to talk about life and we all have to vent and we all have to speak words. But I'm telling you, there is no other YouTuber that's going to tell you this stuff. And I know a lot of people are going to say, who is this guy to tell me this? You're not doing any of this. You're not planting food. You don't have a cow or chicken. You don't have a home. You're not building. You're not doing anything. But see, I'm the type of person that, yes, I'm thinking of that for myself and I'm going to eventually do it. I'm going to eventually do it. It's just not now. I'm planting the seed in my mind right now. It takes time for things to come to fruition. It just doesn't happen in the blink of an eye. But that's not an excuse for us. You see? And I lost train of thought of where I was going to go with this next, and it probably was something important in the video, but it's whatever. If I lose train of thought, it happens, and it's what it is. You know, I'm not holding up this standard anymore of life and how it should be, and I'm telling you, there is so many people out there that they could be doing this homestead living, and what they would be putting their work and effort into is the refuge, is the home, is the place they live. They don't have to go to a job. They don't have to go to some job they hate to make money. It's you go and build your own spot and then you take care of that. That's why homestead living, communal living, refuge living is the only thing that's left for somebody that is someone who is tired of slaving away somewhere or sick and tired of doing the same exact thing every day. And this is also for artists and people with a craft and creators and creative people. You want to have a place where you can do that and you can have time to do that. And then the work you do is for the refuge. It is for you to survive here. And that's all that's left. This is the point that most of you are going to come to, but you just don't realize it. You just don't see it yet. You see, I know this is going to sound crazy. I know this is going to sound nuts, but there's something that Kanye West said, and I resonate with this because this is how I'm thinking, even though it's not happening right now, and I'm not doing it now, but I'm thinking I'm 10 years ahead of my time. I'm 10 years ahead of the world and the way they think. And with this, I'm telling you, this is what's going to happen with most people. This is what I truly, honestly believe that this is going to happen. You're going to see more people going into communes of people. I'm telling you, in the next couple years or so, the next 5 to 10 years or the next couple years, or maybe even the next couple months, I don't know when it's going to happen, but it's going to happen. You're going to hear of the hippies or the psychedelic spiritual people or what other people are there that the anti-natalist community, the universal whatever is coming together to start their own commune because they say they're tired of the way society is living and they said they have got to go on their own. And, you know, I can do the reporter thing pretty good. I always clown around with, Denzel Washington is back for the 5th time in a row. You have got to see this. Cisco and Ebert says this is something you've never seen before. It's almost like an atomic wave of nuclear fission in one atom bomb. Be ready to explode. Have your mind melted away. Nah, I'm just joking around, but I just have so much more I want to do, and I can't keep this to myself. I want to plant this seed in other people. It doesn't necessarily mean just because I like Michael Jordan while he played basketball and while he did what he did, I don't like Michael Jordan the man because I think he's greedy. I think he is one of the most greedy, self-absorbed people that there are in the world. $300 for a pair of Jordans, $500, $200 for a pair of sneakers that Chinese, Oriental, Japanese, Malaysian, whatever people it is that make the sneaker for absolutely nothing. They're putting in all that time to make his product. And then we buy that product because we think that product's cool or we like the way it looks, whatever. But I know me, I'm not, even though Jordans are comfortable and I didn't own a pair. My brother had a pair that didn't fit him and I wore them. But I'm not going to support Michael Jordan. I'm not buying his clothes. I'm not buying his sneakers. I'm not putting all of my time and money into some guy that's just absolutely greedy. Screw that. See, if we really think about why is it that we're buying what we're buying? Why is it that we put our time and our effort and our money into something buying? What are we buying it for? Why do we buy it? Why are we wasting the money on it when we do get certain things? See what I'm saying? Are we thinking that deep? Because I'm not going, even though I love Michael Jordan, the basketball player, even though you're seeing Nate that doesn't have a farm or a house or I'm planting seeds or I built my own home. Just because you're seeing that person and you're not liking the fact that you're not seeing it, it doesn't mean that I don't know about it. It doesn't mean that I didn't play basketball. But see, I'm not going to be greedy like that. I just ask people to buy me a coffee, buy me a $3, a $2 cup of coffee. Some people go to Starbucks 2 or 3 times a day and buy $5 coffees, and it's like nothing. It's like, oh, well, I need caffeine, so here you go, Starbucks. It's why go to Starbucks? Why keep going there? When you can, make your own pot of coffee, you can literally get a cheaper cup that will do the same exact thing, but you get it because it's Starbucks, because everybody goes to Starbucks. It's the popular place to go. So I'm going to go get me a $5 coffee. Look, I'm drinking Starbucks. $5. I'm cool. Look at me. I went to Starbucks. I have $5 to give. I'm not buying no Starbucks coffee. Fuck Starbucks. For real, I'm being serious. Fuck Starbucks and fuck Michael Jordan. He's a greedy dude and Starbucks is greedy. They're fucking greedy. They don't have to sell coffee for that much. See, if these greedy people would change their mind and they would actually lower their prices because they're already making so much off of it. If every person would do that, the world would be a little different. It wouldn't be this just extra consuming, this just greed, this corruption that goes on with us. And not a lot of people see it. See, people will look at me like I'm the crazy guy, like I'm the one that lost it. Like I'm the one, oh man, I can't support this guy. If people know I'm doing anything for him, if people know that I'm associated with him, then I gotta let all these things go. But those things are the things that are keeping you a slave. They're the things that you're giving money to and they don't give a fuck about you. You're supporting something that doesn't give a hootin' hoots of a hooter about you. And it just makes no sense to me. Like I wear plain stuff. I hardly ever wear stuff that got logos or anything on it. Like I wear plain things. Now don't get me wrong, I have Nike sweatpants. But listen, what I'm telling you is I'm not here to get on your shit. I'm just telling you to think about these things. Why do we do these things? Why do we keep going to a job if we have enough money saved up or we can actually do it? Why do we keep going to these jobs day after day? Why do we keep living a certain way? Why do we keep acting or keep reliving and keep doing all the old things that we're doing? And then we keep complaining, oh, this happened. Then we keep talking about it and whatever. And I know I do the same thing. I do the same thing. So therefore, I can't say that I'm not hypocritical with some things too, but I'm telling myself this too. And as I'm telling myself this, even though I'm not doing all of it right now, I'm being careful with my words because I know how words can come back to bite you, but I really mean this though. I really, really, really mean what I'm saying here. I'm not just saying this. This is what I'm thinking. It's just going to take time for me to do it. It's going to take a big change. It's going to take, see what I would have to do. You would have to do too. Most of us but we don't think that we can do it. See, I think I can do it. It's just not everything is coming to fruition yet. I don't have the necessary things that I might need to do it, but you might have to do it, you see? But at least I can tell you about what I know. At least I can tell you about what I've been researching and what I've been looking into and stuff. But the people have got to go do it themselves. They have got to make the choice to go and type online, where can I go get free land? Where can I build? Where can I do all this? I can't do that for people. You see, but at least I can bring it up because I don't think a lot of people even think about this stuff. They're not researching. Nobody's telling them. Nobody's doing anything to make a drastic change while we're here. And I am just to the point of really no return. Like I said in my video, I'm ready to live. I'm ready to die. It doesn't matter to me. I don't have a lot of time here. So what am I going to lose? What am I going to lose? There's nothing to lose. But I know when I'm here, and also there's nothing, I can't keep anything here, but while I'm here, I have something to gain while I'm here. And if I'm responsible about it and I go about it in a disciplined, responsible manner. And see, this is what, just look at the world, at what's happening. Everybody is so offended by change. Everybody is so offended when you correct them or you tell them something they don't know or something they don't think about. Because we have become soft. We have become this generation of just let everybody do what everybody does, and they can do it however. They don't have to be disciplined or take responsibility. They don't have to do this or that. And it's like, just look at what's going on in the world. I mean, just look at how people talk about how lonely they are and how depressed they are and how there's nothing worth living for and nothing. That's because there's nobody there to, I don't want to say look up to, because I don't want people looking up to me, but there's nobody there that's really leading the way to say, look, you can do this instead. There's nobody that got balls of steel or clits of steel anymore that's actually looking into something because they care that much. They have a passion for it and they tell other people what they learned. And see, at least I have the courage to tell you that, no, I'm not doing a lot of these things yet. And it sucks. It hurts that I can't show people this, that I can't prove to people by what they see. You see what I'm saying? But it doesn't mean that I can't tell you something that I know. Knowledge, when knowledge gets passed from one person to the next person, it does something to that person that gets the knowledge to do something with, and they're going to do it a different way. They're not going to do it the same way as I would do it. You know, there's sometimes people just spoke something to me. They just said something to me, and it completely changed my paradigm. It completely changed the way that I seen things in my life. And it was a word. It was knowledge. It was something that somebody else did or took the time to do or put the effort in or had the passion to say it or not be afraid to say it. And they said it and I listened and I'm still carrying it with me. It's still somewhere in my mind in the folders of my mental state and stuff, you know? So I'm 45 minutes in here. I'm going to try to make my videos a little bit shorter because they're too long. They're too long. I know people can't pay attention for a very long time. There's very few people. So I am kind of wasting my time with some of these videos because I understand I don't like sitting and watching an hour video most of the time or a 40-minute video. So I can't blame you that you didn't get this far in the video. If I can keep you here for that long, great. That's great. I mean, let me know if you are actually sticking around for the whole video. Because when you tell me that kind of stuff, when you affirm those kinds of things, when you let me know about it, or you help support my platform, it tells me that you're there, you're listening, you're getting something, if anything at all. You know what I'm saying? It's like, do you think that you're worthless? Do you think that your time is for nothing? Like, how do you think about it? See, the way that you project it is the way that you think about it for yourself. This is what we always have to remember. Whatever you're projecting onto the world, those are shadow figures of yourself. Everything you say is everything that you're reflecting back on you that you're either not dealing with, you're in denial of, or you're just not seeing that you're doing that, but we're all doing that here, all of us. You know, listen, if you don't like me, that's fine. That's fine that you don't like me. If I piss you off or I get you offended or something like that, that is a good thing. That is showing you something. It's ruffling your feathers. It's hitting you in the chest like you were sleeping, like you were knocked out, you had a heart attack, and I you know, and shocked something. We have to stir each other up here, or what is it? It's just dead. It's just dead. It's just dead everything. There's nothing happening. It's just stale. And that's why I say, without the people, without the support, without people listening and getting knowledge, without any of that stuff, it's a dead platform with dead people. I'm dead, you're dead, we're all dead. If nothing is, happening, or there's none of that, it's a dead platform. I mean, it's just the honest truth. And those people that thumbs up the video, they understand this for themselves. You're really not even giving me a thumbs up. You're giving yourself a thumbs up, you see? Every time you thumbs up the video, you're thumbsing up yourself on this platform. This is a individual man in the mirror self-reflect platform for all of us. And if you like me, that's fine too. But you have to understand, I'm going to say things that are going to make you uncomfortable. I'm going to say things because I'm always getting on my own shit. I'm always looking at myself. I'm always observing my own stuff and saying, what do I want to do? What is a seed that I want to plant? What's something that I'm doing over and over again that I could change here? And I just can't stay in that jail cell mentality of locking myself in my own jail cell of fear. I can't do it. Can you? That's the question. So I think that's all that I have to say about this. But yeah, I'm pretty sure for what I believe as a person, you're going to start hearing more about people going off into communes of people and starting their own thing, because this thing is breaking down. It's dissolving. No empire has ever stayed here. The Roman Empire, just every empire, every single empire, the Aztecs. There's no Aztecs. All the pyramids are in the forest. That didn't last. And they were a huge civilization. The Roman Empire was one of the biggest civilizations, and it fell. It fell. And sooner or later, this is going to fall. And we're going to go back to kind of tribal, communal living. I'm telling you, that's where it's heading. I'm telling you, that's where it's heading. That's what I really believe right now, where this is going. And I know a lot of you out there, some of you are even preparing yourselves to just go. And you're looking for something. You're looking for a place to go. You're looking for somewhere that you can work and put your time in, and it ain't going to be for nothing because you don't want to feel worthless. What you're looking for. You're not desiring something. You're looking for a refuge. You're looking for a communal of people. You're looking for community. You're looking for somewhere you can go that you can be you and do you and have something to do every day, something to be excited for. People that understand and say, okay, when you're down, I'll be there to help you. When you're up, then I'll learn from you. You see, but this thing that we're doing, this isn't working. It's not working. The whole family structure for most people, I'm not saying for everybody, it's not working. And I know some people even have, La Familia, like Italian people. They believe in family. People have family tattooed on them. My cousin Alan has family tattooed on him. So that is for some people, family living. Other people, it's not for. It's not for me. And I know a lot of people, it just didn't work. The family structure did not work. But with a commune of people, it's everybody helping everybody. It's the aunts, the uncles, the kids, the grandparents. When the grandparents get sick, there is a person that is around each day. My day is Tuesday on the 18th of every 2 or 3 months. And then Joe's day is on the 1st of every month for every 2 months. Cindy's is on the 2nd. Tim's is on the 3rd. Sean's is on the 4th. Rebecca's is on the 5th. Steve's is on the 6th. Omar's is on the 7th. Tina's is on the 8th. And on and on and on and on. And people have their place. But it's like, how many people are really thinking about this or even talking about it? And I won't lie. For me to do this, if I would actually go for this, if there is no support, then there's no way it can happen. It's impossible. If there's not like-minded people doing it. See, it has to come down to this. It has to come down to the individual person does not want to be a part of something that's not working anymore, but they have got to want it. It has got to be something that it's the only thing you want to do. It's like the only thing left. It's something that you're passionate about. It's something that you really want to do. If you don't have it in you, then it's not there, then it's not for that person. It's not for those people. And it's not going to be for a lot of people. It's not going to be for a lot of people. But it doesn't matter. It's not about numbers anymore. It is about, I am this guy. When you talk about something like 1,000 true fans or supporters or followers, That's what I'm going for. I'm going for 1,000 solid people, or even a couple hundred people, even maybe less than that. I'm going for solid individuals that know themselves and look into things for themselves and have a craft or have something that they're tired of and they want to make a change, but they have to really want it though. It got to be something that you're not doing it for others' approval or to fit in. It can't be about that. It has to be, you don't care about what others think. You do it because you want to do that thing. It can't be because that I have to do everything to help you along, or you come to me for answers and stuff. No, it has to be you looking back at yourself for those things, and you know that you're not going to run to anybody for those kinds of things. You're going to run to yourself because you know for yourself. It's a very, see, it's very far and in between the thing that I'm talking about. It's only going to pertain to some people. But here's what I'm telling y'all. There are 8 billion people in the world. Just because you don't fit in with these people or that thing or this thing or that thing, it's like, screw that thing. It's not for you. You know, we think because, oh, we're not fitting in here, or these people, I don't belong here and all this. It's so crazy when you really think about it, because a lot of people are living in fear based off of this. They're letting fear consume them and run their lives because they're still worrying about what others think of them. They're still going by how the world perceives them and sees them. You have got to get to a point where you say, fuck the world. Fuck the world. They don't matter. They're not going to be in your lives anyway. There's 8 billion of them people. You can't control that. It's like, we got to get a grip on our own lives and what we're doing and what we want to do for the rest of our lives individually with other like-minded people, if that's what we're going to do. I'm not saying that that's going to work for everyone. I'm not saying that I'm going to be living with anyone or around anyone. I might be by myself for the rest of my life. I don't know. But I know that this is where a lot of people are going to head to, because they're going to catch up to this sooner or later. They're going to realize it for themselves. They're going to get so sick and tired of living the way they live or doing what they do that they're going to research into something. Because once you get sick and tired and you get at the end of the road, or you're like, I need to make a change, there's no other place to go. When you hit that dead end, you're going to turn around and go, okay, now what? And then when you hit that dead end, you're going to be like, okay, now what? I did this before, another dead end, now what? And when you reach all those dead ends and you go through all the desiring, whatever, and it doesn't work for you, and you see you don't fit in anywhere, and you're sick and tired, you are going to come to this. You're going to come to refuge living. You're going to come to how can I survive and not have to slave away at some place that I don't like going and getting somebody else rich. You're going to see this, and this is what you're going to come to. You might not be there yet, but you will come to this. A lot of you. Some of you, no, you're not going to come to this because you're not going to maybe be in the same position, or you're not going to think the same way. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just to that, it is to that point where I made up my mind that I don't care if I have to do a 180. I don't care if I have to do a backflip. I don't care if I have to say, okay, I was wrong. Okay, that didn't work. Okay, that's not for me. Okay, this thing is not working. We have to do something else. Okay, this failed for me. Okay, and really when you think about it, there is no failure. Failure is just another bullshit saying that people say that are still indoctrinated I failed. What do you mean you failed? There is no failure. It's just you're learning something. Something didn't happen the way you've expected it, so you think that you failed. There is no failure when you don't expect anything to be a certain way. See, this is what it means to truly let go. This is what it means to truly be free in that part of your mind, wherever that is, where you're not living for others anymore. You're not counting on others. You're not worrying about what others think of you. See, if you're still worried about what the world and others think of you, then you're not there. You're just not there. You're not there yet, because I know for me, I wasn't. But I don't care no more. I'm not worrying about what people think. I am away from the world. I'm dead from the world. I'm dead from 8 billion people. I don't care about what they're doing. That's their lives. I'm never going to be involved with the world's lives. I can only be involved with my own life and maybe a couple others if that happens. But I don't expect it to happen. If it does, awesome. But I know there's only going to be a very few. And saying that is like, that's okay. It doesn't have to be this big number thing, this big numbers game. It doesn't have to be that I have 100,000 people on my side and whatever. Because more people is just more drama. More people is more responsibility. More people is just more everything. Less is better. Less is always more. So anyway, I'm going to end it on that note. If you got something from this, please make sure you hit the thumbs up button. And if you want to help my platform, you can support me in the blue links below. Thank you for your time. Do what you got to do. Take care of yourself. Do the best you can until you can't do the best for yourself anymore. It's all we can do here, y'all. And time is ticking. Tick, 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 tick. Do we forget? It's February 9th, February 8th, February 9th. It'll be the 10th. A month from now, it'll be March 10th. And then next year, March 10th. It's like we don't even have much time here to do this anyway. So what do we have to lose? There's nothing to lose. There's absolutely nothing to lose. And once you let go, you'll see what I mean after a while. If you're really looking into this for yourself, you'll see. You'll catch up on what I mean. And I'm not saying I'm ahead of anybody, because there's no such thing as being ahead. It's only right now. What can we do about the situation now? Now. No, there's no future, no past. There's none of that. Even though I talk about the future, there's no future. It's just a series of nows that I'm always going to be in. There's no tomorrow. It's what am I doing now? If you're tired of the old, then what can you make new now for yourself? That's all there is. That's it. So with that, hasta la vista.